It's three guys who combined to play 15 seasons in the National Football League trenches. Well, two guys. And Mackey, who didn't do shit. This is the O-Line Committee.
The O-Line Committee, where your dumb football questions are always welcome in the YouTube comment section. Oh, that's the Fat Guy Fantasy.
That's not it.
Ooh.
That's
Although I owe you guys an update on that one,
Especially
too.
because I think someone's kicking some people's asses.
There it is.
There it is. That's right. Professional producer over here. So we'll get to the audience dumb football questions shortly from the YouTube comment section, but I want to start you guys off with a couple of my own. The Panthers putting up a fight again in a losing effort, but they're showing some life the last 5-6 weeks. So they go into Philadelphia. They have a lead in the fourth quarter. Eagles wind up pulling out a 22-16 win in that game. Saquon holding pace to break the single-season rushing record. But Jalen Hurts throws for just 108 yards on 21 attempts, so only 5 yards per attempt in that game. And afterwards, the media asks A.J. Brown, because like everyone was just very solemn and pissed off, apparently, in the Eagles locker room, despite having not lost a game in 2 months. Right. And so the media asks A.J. Brown, what does the offense need to improve on? And he says, passing, with just a straight face. And Jalen Hurts was kind of asked about it, and it was just really weird vibes, and A.J. Brown clearly not happy with not getting the football more often. So my dumb question to you guys is, even though the Eagles haven't lost in over 2 months, are you a little worried about the weird drama that seems to be happening with the offense?
I'm not. I'm not super worried about it. Receivers are going to receiver. They're going to be upset that they're not getting 40 targets a game, right? Even the greats put the ball in my hand. Well, here's the thing, bud. We have a guy that's about to break the rushing record who's helped us win all these games straight. The ball will come. It'll come, right? It'll get figured out. Make them stop us with Saquon. And they didn't stop Saquon yesterday. Saquon wasn't the problem. But I do think that there is a little bit of doubt in all those Eagles players that remember how they finished the season last year.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Not just from an offensive perspective, but there's a lot of players on that team that were on that team last year when the wheels fell off in late November, early December, and everything went skidding to a halt. So I don't think there's panic, but it's definitely not feeling good in Philadelphia right now.
No, and I agree with you on that, Jay. I think the guys from last year are probably like, hey, we can't let this start to go downhill. And at the same time, you won a game.
You won.
I think people are really giving this a hard time because it's the Panthers, but I think they forget this is the new Panthers. Like, these guys are actually coming out.
This is also the National Football
Dude, they're making plays. The Panthers are starting to show life again, and you're like, dude, holy shit, what's going on down there? And it's the same thing with the Chiefs last week, right? Like, you're like, oh, they took them to the deep end, and I'm like, they're a good team. They look a lot better. They're playing a lot better. Like, Bryce Young's starting to look like the first overall pick for them. They're starting to get the run game going with Chuba Hubbard. Like, everyone's showing up defensively. They're starting to put a chokehold on people. But at the same time, like, it's like Jay said, there's always going to be a receiver somewhere that's fucking pissed. And it's going to say something silly, and everyone's going to be like, hey, shut the fuck up. Because you're not 26 and you're not the reason that we're standing where we're standing. It's exactly like Jay said. Guarantee you the OC comes down and goes, hey, listen, you're not the reason we're here. He is. And until he fails us, like multiple games, we're not going to get away from him. We're just going to keep handing him the ball. We're going to keep letting him make fucking plays. Why? Because he's going to jump over a motherfucker. That's why. Like, what are we bitching about over here? I agree with Jay. I think sometimes they're making like, in no way am I worried about this team right now.
But to your point, it comes back to how does Sirianni handle it, right? Because that's we sit here and Boone, you and I have been a part of it. Like, we're all in the locker room, like, yeah, it's fine, we're winning, who cares? But when there's upset people in the locker room, it's up to the head coach to squash it. Do we have faith in Sirianni to be able to do that? I mean, 2 months ago, he was getting booed in his own stadium, right? People were calling for his head on a spike. Last year, things go off the rails. Sirianni doesn't handle it well down the stretch there either. This is where head ball coaches earn their money. When there's some issues in the locker room going on, there's some people in one camp that are happy. There's some people, hey, I want the ball. You're paying me this money. It's up to him to find a way to make everyone happy. He is now the CEO. You are the manager of people, right? The X's and O's are coming. How do you manage A.J. Brown? Do you pull him in your office and be like, bud, what's going on? Let's talk this out. Or do you just kind of put it in the corner and be like, it'll figure it out on its own? There's a lot that has to happen here to make things go right if you want to go to a Super Bowl run here, because you're going to need A.J. Brown. Like, you can't have him go in the toilet. You're going to need him down the stretch.
If I were Nick Sirianni, I would be furious about this, because if you made a list of all the players and receivers in the NFL who have an actual gripe, dude, A.J. Brown, I just looked this up because I would have thought, oh man, he's probably really, his numbers are probably suffering. Dude, he's 5th in the league in yards per game.
And he missed like 3 games.
Right behind, per game. He's like 8th in total yards.
Yeah.
But he's behind Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Puka Nacua, and Nico Collins. He's right in there yards per game with the top 5 receivers in the league. My team hasn't lost. If I'm the coach, we haven't lost in 2 months. We're going to set the single season rushing record. And you're out here, mad about your personal agenda? And also, you're still putting up crazy numbers, dude. Take a deep breath.
Jay said it earlier. There's always going to be a receiver somewhere that wants his yards. Like, it is what it is. And at some point, Jay said it right. Like, you either address it or you don't. This is one of those scenarios where you have to address it. Because if you don't, it could boil over.
Address it properly. Properly.
Absolutely.
Behind a closed door.
Pull him in your room.
Have
like
the
you
meeting.
Said.
And have the conversation with him, and then address it to the team.
Right.
This is one of those things where if you just come out and you haven't had a conversation with him, and I've seen this happen before, where like the coach had not spoke to the player, and then you address it in front of the entire team, that's when shit can go sideways very, very quickly.
Dude, think about this. Remember the old Steelers? Antonio Brown, Ben Roethlisberger. Remember Ben kind of said something in the media, and it never got addressed, and all of a sudden, boom, like that's how it goes.
That's where they're at.
If you don't go, if Nick Sirianni doesn't go to him and go, hey, listen, you need to chill out a little bit. All right. Like, these words thrown in the media can be taken the wrong way. We know you love this team. We love you. Like, I'm not making a big issue out of it. I'm just gonna shut it down. I'm gonna go, hey, we love you.
You gotta nip it in the butt right now.
Like, hey, but I have to say something to the team. I gotta bring it up, and I gotta let guys know we can't be talking like that, because we haven't lost a game in 2 fucking months, and I don't want to lose a game because somebody's pissed off that they're not getting yards when it doesn't fucking matter. We're putting up W's. What are you fucking bitching about, right? Like, I do worry a little bit that Sirianni could be like, hey, shut the fuck up, right? Like, I learned over the weekend, and this was interesting as I was in Fargo, I learned that Sirianni was a Mount Union kid. Do you know where Mount Union is?
No.
It's a D3 school in Ohio, and they're fucking legendary because they win.
Mount Union, they were like on a crazy run of winning division.
They win
titles,
everything. Right? Coach Karras recruited my brother. Fucking stud. I found out that he was the ball boy for Coach Karras. So now everything's starting to make sense as to why he's such a chippy fucking coach. Because he's from Ohio. Dude, he's fucking Ohio boy. Like, of course you're going to be a chippy motherfucker. But at the same time, I worry about that because we're not the best in situations where it should be like, hey, bud, are you okay? We're more like, hey, shut the fuck up. What's your problem? You got something to say about this offense? Like, I could easily see Sirianni like cornering him in front of everyone.
Why are you so confrontational?
Who the fuck you think you're talking to? Yeah, like, you serious? You think we don't throw the ball enough? We're about to break a record and you're bitching about the ball in the air? You're an idiot. I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll see.
And also it's first of all, maybe they're just mad about we played the Panthers close in the fourth quarter. This is a different Panthers team, man. They almost beat the Chiefs.
I'm becoming a Panthers fan, dude. I Thielen, I forgot he was there. He's showing up. Leggett, he's fucking coming out of nowhere. Tommy Tremble, what a name. I fucking love the way that sounds.
Hey, I will say this. Reporter Mackey doesn't come out very often, but I'm going to give you guys a little scoopage from inside the Panthers facility here, all right? An O-line committee exclusive right now. I was texting with a friend who works high up in the Panthers organization, all right? How important does that sound, by the way?
Self-suck ding.
Ding.
Happily. And he said, totally new vibe over the past month. We feel like we're coming. Like super, super optimistic about it. And that's how sometimes, even though their record is garbage and they're out of the playoff mix, look what the Lions did at the halfway point of the season 3 years ago. They started meaningless games because they weren't going to make the playoffs, but they rattled off like 6 wins in 7 weeks, and they started to build something. And then those guys go into the offseason feeling like, okay, now it's on in 2022 or 23.
Give it time, dude. I'm telling you.
I mean, but it's all about the quarterback play. It's the quarterback 100%. Play.
Yep.
You can't win in this league without great quarterback play. And Bryce Young over the last 6 weeks, 1,600 plus yards. Taking care of the football, making good decisions. Adam Thielen's figuring out, and they're one drop away from potentially winning that game yesterday.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what all the stuff we just talked about. And maybe that's why the Eagles are upset because they felt like maybe they actually lost that game. I mean, Xavier Legette catches that football. If I'm the Panthers, I'm going for 2 and I'm trying to end it right there.
Yep.
Right. Like right. And they were that close to it. Also, did you guys hear about the idiot that put a $3 million bet on the Panthers?
Yes.
Did
Did you hear about this?
I did.
So this dude took a $3 million. I saw it earlier in the week. It was an unnamed person. He bet $3 million on the Panthers only to win like 400,000 or something because the odds were so nuts, or maybe it was like 1 million or something like that. Talk about a tight butthole pucker there at the end of the game. Woo! But I mean, I think Legette's going to be great. They're going to go get some more pieces around
Jonathan
him.
Brooks, by the way, torn
his
ACL.
ACL. I saw that.
news
I was
just
taking
came
a piss
out.
before here. That sucks.
rough,
It's the same one. It's the same one he tore in college
Damn,
too,
dude.
which is really unfortunate. Yeah, I like what the
They're a new
Panthers are doing
team, dude.
right now.
I do. I like them a lot. I think they're on the path, and you got to give it time. You can't expect somebody to come in and just fix everything right away. You're going to go through some fucking struggles. I'm surprised this owner's gone this long with this coach, but now it's starting to show, right? Like all of a sudden, everything everyone's been saying, like give it time, let it fester.
build, let
all
it
of a sudden,
go.
it'll come out, and if it doesn't after a year and a half, then you're gone. But he's actually letting him work, and I could see the vibes. You can tell they play differently, man. They're playing faster. They're fucking look like they're having
In a
fun.
division that next year is going to be wild.
Very wild.
I mean, next year that division's wide open.
Oh, dude. You're thinking next year the Saints, I mean, after what happened with Derek Carr, he broke his hand.
Broke his hand.
Like,
And
dude,
they're still in cap hell that they need to sort out.
Yep.
absolutely. And then the
Atlanta's
Falcons are going to be going through their shit.
Atlanta's falling into cap hell as
You're
the
gonna be
hours
fighting
tick
Tampa
by.
for it. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be Baker's
Tampa will be getting healthy again. They'll get Godwin back, all those guys. So it'll be interesting. I'm excited about the Panthers, but
Hey,
I still think the Eagles are a top 4 team in the NFL.
I agree, but to what Jay said, like there are times where you win a game by like 2 points, 3 points, 6 points, and you're like, we should have fucking lost. And everyone's really mad, and the coaches are really pissed. Now everyone goes back and watches the film, and they're like, you know what? We did some really good things. We did some fucking stupid things. They get paid money too. We won this game. Let's learn and move on. I guess I just can't get off this whole topic of like, will Sirianni handle this properly?
That's the number
I
one
know
question.
I'm really nervous because I'm like, man, it's such a good fucking team. And if you
Think
fuck
about how
this
low
up-
that bar is, bro. You don't call plays anymore. So we literally need you for like the once every month fire to be put out within the locker
Yeah.
room as
And this is a
needed.
big one. It's a
Go
5 alarm.
handle it.
It's a
Yeah.
5 alarm
But this,
fire.
I mean, this is like what made Pete Carroll so great in
Oh,
Seattle for so long, right?
diffuse
The
shit.
dude did zero football, right? Like Pete Carroll did zero football. All he did was manage his players, right? And that's half the battle in the NFL. I mean, Malik Neighbors in New York, Stephon Diggs when he was in Buffalo, right? That type of stuff can ruin a season.
Diggs and Vikings.
Right. I mean,
There you go.
it can ruin a season. And so
It
when you're
can
on the
ruin a
cusp
lot.
and you're right here, it is fully 100%. No one else will shoulder the blame for if this goes good, and no one else will shoulder if it goes bad, and no one else will shoulder the praise if it goes good besides Nick Sirianni.
All right. Next dumb football question. So for those who haven't seen this the last few days in the news cycle, Bill Belichick did confirm this morning on his Pat McAfee show appearance that he has indeed been interviewing with the University of North Carolina for their head coaching job. And when asked if he was going to take the job, he said, "We'll see. There's supposed to be resolution sometime this week." Do you think 73-year-old Bill Belichick
Wait,
we'll-
let
this
him
is a
finish. Let him finish.
disaster, dude.
Wait.
will
Finish.
take and bring North Carolina to prominence? As
I'm
a
gonna
head
say
football
this. If you need an O-line coach, you better fucking call me.
No.
I am all about this.
Stop it.
I love this.
This is the dumbest thing they could ever do.
Dude, they're gonna do it. They're gonna fucking do it.
Dude,
Yep.
Nick Saban got out of college football
Mm-hmm.
because of what it has turned into. Bill Belichick has been in college football how long?
But-
and he wants to now enter into a world in which 19-year-olds are going to walk into your office and say, "I want a pay bump or I'm hitting the portal." How
Dude.
You think Bill Belichick's going to handle sitting in a 17-year-old's house next to mom and dad and going, he's going to be everything. Like, that's what you have to do in college. You have to recruit.
Jay.
He couldn't even
Crazy
suck
amounts.
up to Tom Brady.
You're
dude.
forgetting.
Like, that's,
His girlfriend is 19. He is dealing with this every fucking day. He probably feels like a master. He's probably in there like, I could easily talk to these morons. Are you kidding me? She's like the same age.
So much of college recruiting is being personable and like sitting down. I remember, and Booney, I remember sitting in Bo Pelini's office, right, as a 17-year-old kid. I might have even been 16 the first time I went, and just trying to get a like vibe of like, do I want to spend the next 4 years of my informative life transformation from boy to man, the whole bit, like, are you going to be the guy that's going to be there for me in my corner? And imagine Bill Belichick's
That's old Bill, dude. Have you seen new Bill? He's going to have like Big Cat next to him, like, Big Cat, we good? It's going to be fucking amazing. You are so against
not gonna be
He
good.
has changed.
It's not going to be
He's
good.
different. I'm telling you, it's
he's
not
not,
old Bill.
dude.
Yes, it is. I'm telling you, he's going to
He's going to take away Instaface. Like, he's going to
listen, this is what I don't like.
is
I don't
such a
like
bad
that he
move.
has to do this to get his son a head coaching gig. I don't like that. I don't like that you put it in there that your son takes over after you, because it's like, Dad,
why not?
I need
dude?
help. Give me a job.
I don't see a world in which this
Bill's
ends
gonna
well.
crush.
I think there will be maybe a record number of portal transfers out of North Carolina after the first year.
I think you're wrong.
Because I'll put a steak and a beer on it. I mean, he
right
hasn't even got
now.
the job yet. We'll make the steak and a beer bet when he gets the
Dude,
job.
he should bring Nick Saban as the defensive coordinator. Let's bring
Just get the band back together.
He's gonna fucking
Ron Rivera come in there as
destroy in college. He's gonna destroy. He's not gonna have to fucking recruit. Half the kids are gonna be like, Bill Belichick wants me to play. No,
Dude,
no,
you're so far
no,
removed from this, Boone. You have no idea what college football landscape is right now.
I do.
Dude,
that's
college
why I
kids
know.
think Bill Belichick is relevant or cool.
They know
or
he's
any
a
of that?
beast, though, and they know that him
Do
in his
they?
corner is going to be enough. They're going to be like, Bill Belichick's going to have my fucking back. Yeah,
but
and they're going to pay me too. Bill,
Does
yes.
he make you feel that way talking to him? Like, that's the thing.
Have you
have
heard
to
him lately?
you have to inspire young kids. That's
He
what
is,
the name of the
though.
game.
Have you heard his show? He's so much fucking funnier. And now he's like, wait a minute, I can do this and coach. I can be like this. I don't have to sit here and be this warmonger of like, we're going to run every day. Shut up. Like, instead, he's more like having fun, laughing off the cuff, doesn't give a fuck.
I will say this. If he takes that job, by the time the first season rolls around in the fall, he will be 7 years removed from his last Super Bowl championship, which means the incoming freshmen were like 11 or 12 years old the last time he won a Super Bowl. I do worry about him being like in his mid-70s and like 7 years removed from being like really
Dude,
relevant.
Spurrier
in the
did
football
it until he
world.
was like 100. Are you kidding me?
But he understood the landscape of college football.
Trust me, he understands. He's
Okay.
dating that young girl, dude. He knows how to fucking talk to those kids.
He at least knows what TikTok is now.
Yes. He's not going to ban the shit. You're so against this. Let this happen.
It's not going to end
This is an
well.
organic
It's
flow.
not gonna, I mean, I'll watch the train wreck happen with the best of them, but this is not going to end well for anyone involved.
I'm not going to.
They already messed up and tried to bring Mac Brown in, right? They're like, you can bring us back like you did for Texas, right? And so now you're going to go double down on it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm here for it,
Dude, college coaches are running away from college football because they can't handle what the transfer portal is and having to recruit your guys while they're already there. Listen, my business partner had a client that played for the Patriots for a long time. Free agency time rolled around, and he said, get me the F out of here. Yeah. And that's how it was back then. And I don't think Bill can change because he doesn't have time to change his leadership style completely. When shit starts flying and you're back in that position of head ball coach, what are you going to do? You're going to go back to, hey, I won Super Bowls doing this. My way or the highway. You shut up and sit down over there. If I see a phone, you're dead, right? You tweeted that, get off my football team. That doesn't work with 19-year-old kids anymore.
But wait.
It just doesn't.
What happens after 4 years in college? You go away. That's why they're so great. You don't have to stay here for 12 years to create a dynasty. You're in for 4 and you're fucking gone. So after 4 years,
you could also flip the roster like Deion Sanders did, bring 75 new players into the
there's
portal.
Deion's cool. Bill Belichick's not cool.
Yeah,
he's
agree.
not cool, dude. Deion is neat and he's prime time and he's got the chain and the whatever shades on.
Belichick's
Bill's
got the
gonna have a
cutoff
North
hoodie.
Carolina cutoff hoodie,
New
Looking
Balance
great.
sneakers?
No.
His little Velcro New Balance.
taking a beer right now on a
Terrible.
hypothetical hire of Bill Belichick. I am for it. Jay, you versus
When
me.
they hire him, we can set an over/under win
Let's
total,
go.
and
Let's
we'll
go.
go from there.
All right, let's get to the audience questions here. Keep dumping them into the YouTube comment section, O-Line Committee YouTube channel. And if you haven't already, click that subscribe button and the like button. Let's go to Dale. I believe it's Reike here. He says, what do players do after they get ejected from the game?
I've never been ejected, so I have no idea.
You mean other than get your ass chewed out for getting kicked out of a game when everything calms down? I mean, you go back to the locker room, shower up, and get ready to leave. I'm trying to think if I've ever had someone that's been ejected.
I don't remember anyone that's been ejected.
It doesn't happen very often.
You know, Takeo Spikes got ejected his last game ever.
That's a great way to go.
But you guys don't remember that? It was his last game ever after like
I
13
don't.
years. Never went to the playoffs, and he got ejected. And I remember watching him walk out, and I felt so bad for him.
Never went to the playoffs.
No,
That's crazy.
dude, TKO was one of my most favorite people in the world. He was the nicest guy. But I think honestly, if you get ejected, they obviously you get removed from the field with security. They'll walk you back to the locker room. But I'm assuming you just take a shower and get dressed.
Watch it on TV.
Yeah, I mean, dude, you probably get your ass chewed out when the coaches come in. I can't imagine.
Takeo Spikes, by the way, biggest neck circumference in NFL history.
That was
Dude.
huge.
He was so fucking funny. You guys would have loved him. Like
Nothing
was.
Dude,
ever
I remember watching
serious.
highlights of him like hitting guards and just crumpling them.
Dude,
like
he was insane.
he would just like paralyze, and they just fall to the ground.
Hey, when I was there, he was like the end of his career. And so they were trying to give a homage to Singletary, and they were like, TK, I dare you to wear a single bar face mask. So he did for like half the season, and it was fucking insane. And I remember being like, this guy will do anything. And he was just like, dude, you gotta roll with the flow. You gotta enjoy the vibe. And he always had like 12 ice packs on his body, and he had like a notebook always with him. Fucking awesome, dude.
You know who would have benefited from a player getting ejected yesterday? If Kadarius Toney would have just gotten ejected from the Browns game, it might have ended better for them. He had 2 plays, he had a personal foul, and then he muffed a punt. That was
Not good.
I mean, at that point, they're just like, please eject him. Just get him off the
Toss him.
field.
That was targeting, right? Is that even not college rule? No,
It's-
just find something else.
I mean, if he still has a job by the end of the day, I'll be shocked.
He'll be back next year. Don't worry. Somebody will be like,
Somebody will-
first round pick.
First
Got
round
it.
pick, he's got the
Gotta
little
be.
asterisk next to his
Gotta
name.
be
It's
there.
still in there somewhere.
By the way, I'm okay. I just pulled up Takeo Spikes' like Pro Football Reference page. It's crazy. Like he played from 1998 through 2012 for 5 different franchises till he was 36 years old.
Mhm.
Didn't play a playoff game.
Broke my
That's
heart, dude.
wild, man. So he was 5 years with the Bengals during the dark Bengals era.
Dark.
And then Buffalo, like post Jim Kelly Buffalo. And then he was 07 Eagles. Was that like right at the end of the Andy Reid? Yeah, they were 8-8. It was kind of like after they had gone to the Super Bowl a couple years later. And then with Booney's Niners for a few years. And then he played 2 years in San Diego in 2011 and 2012. And 8-8, 7-9. Dude, a decade and a half.
Dude,
never
that's, I mean,
played a playoff.
I remember the old guys always telling the younger guys every time he made it to the playoffs. So he made it in 15, 16, and 17 with my 2 playoff years. And I remember the old guys being like, listen, boys, you don't understand. Like, this may never happen again.
Right.
Like, you have to take advantage of these playoff runs. I think of Joe Berger, right? He played on 13 years, and I think he only went to the playoffs twice when he was with us, right? So he played a decade, didn't go,
Ryan
and then finally got to
Fitzpatrick.
go.
Joe
Ryan
Thomas.
Fitzpatrick.
Joe
Joe
Thomas.
Thomas. 10 fucking years. I think he only went one time. Dude, there's a lot. And, it's funny because every year in the PA, this is the most fucked up thing. Every year there'd be teams that were like, hey, we need to up this first round money because you only make like $10,000 the first round.
Well,
of
and if
playoffs.
you had to buy it, used to be you
don't
didn't get paid at all.
Right. So they'd be like, we need to up this money. And guys would be like, all of a sudden Cleveland would stand up and be like, fuck you. That comes out of the salary cap. And they'd be like, only Cleveland's going to get mad about it. Like, and then like, all the shitty teams would be like, this is bullshit. And all the good teams would be like, well, maybe you guys should fucking work hard. I don't know what to tell you. They'd be like, our fucking coach, dude. You don't understand. Like, it was the most amazing fight. But, it's so hard to get to the playoffs that you think about the Patriots were doing it every single year. And the Steelers have done it for so
the
many
Chiefs
years.
the
And the
last
Ravens.
5 years.
Dude, I'm telling you, it is one of the hardest fucking things to do. And when you get there, you appreciate every single day being able to go into work, eat food that's free. You're fucking with your boys. Everyone's texting you like, what's it like? You're like, so much fun. What's vacation like? Loser. You're like, dude,
Have another one at the swim up bar in Cancun.
Oh God, dude, I'm telling you.
Albert is awesome chimes in.
Thanks,
He
Albert.
sure is.
If that's a reference to himself, then
Self
Yes,
suck.
that's a self-suck,
there.
Albert.
Albert says, hey, holiday season is upon us. Are there any gift-giving traditions in the locker room, such as like starting quarterbacks giving gifts to the offensive line, et cetera, et cetera?
So when I was in Frisco, it was the greatest time come Christmas. And we used to, and I think it was Alex Smith and it was Frank Gore would give us gifts, and Alex would invite us over to his house, and his wife was a chef, so she'd make us like this big coursed meal, and we'd do a white elephant, and everybody would be just giving each other the most, like we got like the iPads when they first came out, and I was like, this is fucking incredible. And then Frank used to give us stuff all the time because he was rushing all over the place, and it was awesome. And then when I came to Minnesota, it was the same thing. Sam gave us gifts, and
Teddy got us those coolers, and you weren't there in 15. That was 15.
No,
He gave us like plug-in coolers, right? Like that, like you can double as a fridge that like were customized.
Yep.
Case Keenum got us shotguns in 17, which was awesome.
Dude,
like I'll never forget. He walked
theme.
He walked into the O-line room like mid-December. He's like, "Hey, question for all you boys." We're like, "Yeah, what's up, Casey?" He's like, "Any of you guys convicted felons?" We're like, "No." He goes, "Good. Just had to get that out of the way." We're like, "What the frick are
What
you
could this
talking
be?
about?" And then come Christmas time, he was like, "Hey, your shotguns, you got to go pick them up over here," and like custom case, which was sweet. Phillip Rivers, my rookie year, we had like 15 O-linemen that played that year. Like everyone got hurt. He got every single one a Breitling watch. Not cheap.
Between
Not
15
cheap.
O-linemen and 9 kids, how much money did
Not
he spend
cheap,
at
Dude,
Christmas
hey,
that
yeah.
year?
Frank got us Breitlings one year because we broke a record with him and we went to the playoffs. And I don't know if this is true, and I always try to figure this out. I just don't know any of these old school guys like that. I heard a rumor when I first came in the league that Tom Brady got his offensive line Audis because he was sponsored by Audi. So everybody on the O-line got a free Audi.
Wow.
And I was like, no fucking way. And they're like, dude, swear to God. So then everybody
Dude,
looked
I
over
got
to
kind of
Alex.
gypped. I had 2 rookie quarterbacks. Like, because they don't have the money. They don't have the money. They don't have the
it.
money, dude. Like, right, I went from Phillip Rivers, like, oh, it's a Breitling, to Teddy was like, here's a cooler. Right? It was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, I see it. But the funniest, so in Buffalo, 2018, I'm in Buffalo with Josh, right? Then him and Sam Darnold were the same class. Well, that was the year I had my best friend, Spencer Long, played for the Jets. And Sam Darnold got all the Jets O-linemen grill tools. Not a grill tools, right? That like you could tell were like free. So they went out and they put Sam's car up on blocks. Right. I don't know if you remember that, right? But there was the picture, like they took his wheels off, put it up on blocks because they were so pissed. Josh came to me and he was like, "Jay, I got a question." I was like, "Yeah, what's up, buddy?" He's like, "Hey, I got you guys all the 12-inch iPad Pros. Like, you're not gonna fuck with my Range Rover, are you?" Like, that's a good enough gift. I was like, "It's a great gift, Josh. That's a good job." I was like, "I just want to make sure. Like, I don't want to rock the boat here." Like, no, that's a great gift.
I will say there was a Christmas that rocked our boat. And it was
It will if you don't take care of your
It was
boys.
Christmas that rocked the boat. It was the Christmas gift that rocked the boat and sent everything
Or lack
into
of Christmas
It was a
gift?
very lack of that sent everything into a bad tailspin. It was so bad that it ended up fucking kind of causing us a franchise. Like we were like, this was bad. Should never have happened. And it was. And people sometimes, and this is what drives me nuts, people will be like, well, don't you get paid enough? It's not
the respect
It's
thing.
the respect factor. Like, it's the fact that we'll do whatever we have to do and play through anything to make sure you're good. At the end of the year, you made $25 million. You can take us to dinner. You can fucking tell us you love us.
Something.
You just give us something authentic or be cool about it. Like, dude, you used to hear about Drew Brees used to fly his guys to the Bahamas with their wives.
I know that Burrow one year gave them all a week-long cruise. Like,
Yeah.
hey, take it when you want, right? Like, here's a week-long cruise. Like, that's a great gift.
It's like a gift card. He got him
Yes.
a gift
Yeah.
card.
But
Basically,
it's like-
like book it and it's you. You don't have to do anything for it. Like, dude, you want to talk about guys that'll go out of your way, but it just goes back to the simplest fact of respect. Like, it doesn't have to be like the most expensive thing.
No.
It just has to be something that we're like, I appreciate you. I appreciate what you guys do, and I know you eat all the shit on this team, and here you go.
I will say my favorite thing that I didn't realize until I got in the NFL was the Christmas bonuses that we get to give out as players
Ooh,
to the
green
support
fees.
staff people.
Yes.
Right. Like, so I don't know if like the people that work in the building at the NFL, the cooks, the equipment guys, the people who take care of the fields,
Everybody.
like everyone, they don't get a Christmas bonus from the organization. Surprise, surprise, the NFL is cheap, right? But what they do is they pass around a sheet, and you as players can give money to those people. And so when I found that, I was like, man, that is really cool. Like, and you can take care of your own, right? Like, I would always give, like, you could say, hey, we're going to give this amount of money to EQ, this amount of money to equipment. And I would always give like every like chunk of that of good money, but then I would always go and tip out like my guys individually, right? Because you always had the guy that taped your ankles, right? That was your guy, or the guy when you were dinged and you went to, or you had your equipment guy that's like, man, I need a pair of gloves, and he'd take off running to the thing and come back out, or hey, my air's not right in my cleat or my helmet, can you pump it up? Yep, got you. Right, and then you had the cook that knew you by name, and you walked in and he'd say, hey, got your eggs, 2 sausages with a pancake, I'll have it out to you in 2 minutes. Thank you, Bill. No problem, Jeremiah, right? Like, being able to be in a position to bless those type of people with a Christmas bonus was awesome. Yes. I love that because they never expected it. Like, it never was expected, but it was always something where you're just like, man, I'm glad I get to take care of these people that are helping me live my dream of playing a kid's game for a living. That was a really cool thing. And there's guys in the NFL that I knew would give like $1 million, like lots of money that would go back to those type of people. And it's just a really cool thing the NFL does.
Dude, and honestly, if you don't, you get fined. When I was in Frisco, I remember
there was a minimum. There was a minimum because you'd pass the sheet around the room, and at the end of it, the vet would get the room and be like, didn't hit the minimum.
I remember the first time it hit me, I was like looking at it. I was like, what is this? And they're like, well, we tip everybody out on our own. And I was like, all right, well, what are we all tipping? And I was young in a very old room. And so the guys set the price, and they were like, this is what everyone's going to tip everyone. And I was like, I don't know if I can afford all this. Oh, shit. But it is so cool because at the end of the year, when you become older and you have the money to give out that you're like, I really appreciate you. It's great to be able to go around and talk to guys and give it, like mine was Suge when I was in Minnesota. Not that he didn't make a ton of money, but Suggs always looked out for me, and I was always like, I appreciate you, and Hunkley and all those guys. Like, you got to always remember, dude, the most important people that get tipped are the food. You take care of the people that take care of your food, and your EQ boys. Like, those are the guys that you personally go up, because I remember they'd always be like, hey, you're not tipping EQ. I'd be like, yeah, no, I'm going to take this fat wad of cash right here, and I'm going to go in there and give it to him, because I don't trust you motherfuckers to give it to him. Like, those were the two people that you were like, I don't know that I can trust you guys to give them all this money, so I'm going to do it myself. Yeah, logistics, I'll let you give them the bonus, or maybe you just take my money back. I don't know. But, like, everybody takes care of EQ, and those guys.
Well, EQ's great because if they're your boys, like, you can go Christmas shopping back there.
Oh, yes.
Right? Like, you walk back there, and you're like, hey, I need a large hoodie for Dad, a medium one for my brother, and they're just like, oh, here's a box, dude. Just take it. You're like, oh, fantastic, right? But if you don't, they can make your life hell.
Yeah.
If you piss off the equipment guys, you're not in a good place. Oh, you need a new pair of gloves? Yeah, I'll have it in your locker. Never shows up.
Never.
Oh, you got holes in your sock? That's unfortunate, right? Like, those dudes can ruin you.
Yeah, you want to be close with those guys.
Let's go to Steven's guitar covers here. It's pretty good. I feel like we've used Steven's guitar covers before on Dumb Football Questions. What's it like watching the defense from the sidelines as an offensive player? Is it like watching as a fan? Like, are you guys just like buried in tablets and your position coach is yelling at you?
You really don't. Like, very rarely. The only time you really watch is like you go game-winning drive, score a touchdown. There's like 50 seconds left, right? And you're kind of watching like, okay, are we done? Are we going to overtime? Like, there's really not a lot to coach right now besides like cheering them on, or the first series of the game. Right, the first series of the game, if you're on offense or if
you know what you're doing,
you know what's going on. You know the openers. Like, you'll kind of watch and see if the defense sets a tone. But other than that, I don't really remember watching the defense play.
Yeah, you like hear some crowd noise maybe, and then look up.
My favorite's when you hear someone yell turnover. You've never seen 5 guys rip up off the ground and throw a helmet on faster and just run out there, just no idea what's happening. Like, I think we have the ball.
Oh, no. They said it was incomplete. Everyone's like, motherfucker.
Oh, damn it.
And there's like a 2-minute TV timeout. Yeah. You actually do have some time, but
no, you want to set the tone. Like Jay said, if there's a turnover, you got to get your ass the fuck out there.
It's amazing how fast the guys get out there. Like, you sprint out there, and then the guy, the orange mitt guy, gives the old wave off, and you're like, 3 minutes.
and then all of a sudden, the EQ guy's running out, like bringing the smellers, and you're like, yes. Almost missed it.
Let's go to Daniel Chojak next here. Why wouldn't a defense rush 5 guys on every play? It would force 5-0 protection, and if the offense keeps a running back or a tight end in to block as well, you end up with a +2 advantage in coverage like you would with the traditional rush 4 drop 7. I guess to flip it around to you guys, would that, if a defense rushed 5 on every play, would that be good or bad for an offense?
It'd be great if you didn't have players like Justin Jefferson or guys that will just absolutely roast a corner one-on-one, right? Because when you rush 5, you're leaving someone one-on-one, right? And at that point, if you know a team, and like to his point, hey, we rush 5 every single time. You know, the Patriots did that for a while, you know, go there. But if you have a receiver that can cook one-on-one coverage, you invite the 5. Please send the extra guy. We'll just game plan it and get the ball out. We'll change the protections where sometimes you think we're 5-0, now we're full slide, right? We'll go screen game. There's just too many ways to mess if someone's a 5 down rusher. You know, it's just there's too many good receivers in this league. You can get away with it in college. I think college, I would rush 5. If I was a D coordinator in college, I would rush 5 all the time.
Just fluster young
right?
quarterbacks.
Fluster a young quarterback. You
Twist
don't have
them.
ass kickers out on the outside, right? Like just get into the grill, test that O-line. Is there a weak point on the O-line? But in college, just too much talent on the outside.
Yeah, it's like Jay said. You don't really ever want to show your hand the whole game. And if you're like, hey, there are 5 guys going to be rushing through here, well, now all of a sudden the screen game's going way up, or all of a sudden the trap game's going up. Like something else will succeed. That's why. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish your thought.
I was just going to say defensive coordinators are constantly trying to change it up. Like they're constantly trying to show 8, drop 4, show 8, bring all. Like at some point, people are like, why don't they always just pressure the quarterback? And it's like what Jay said. They're going to find somebody. And it might not be Justin Jefferson. It might not be Jordan Addison. Hell, it may be Jalen Naylor. It may be the third guy that shows up that day. It might be Juwan Jennings. It might be somebody that you weren't expecting that shows up for 3 tutties and you're like, well, we rushed 5 the whole game. And it's like, yeah, well, you left that one fucking guy all by himself and he cooked that 4th string cornerback. I don't know what to tell you, but the offenses are smart and they're going to go out there and go, hey, they're bringing 5 every time. And someone's going to go, all right, well, where's our mismatch? How do we get motions going? How do we get people on where we want them? We can create one-on-one matchups that we fucking like. All of a sudden, you got Puka Nacua versus your fucking best DB. I don't give a shit. This motherfucker needs one hand, and he'll make it happen. Like, it doesn't always work like that. At some point, you'd like to show massive pressure and then drop everybody because what does that do? It fucks with the quarterback's brain because he's thinking, if they all come, I'm going right there. And he kind of gets dead set on right there. And then all of a sudden, they take a step and drop, and he's like, not right there. Oh, shit, where's 2, right? All of a sudden, like, that's why you want to keep throwing things. And for us, if I know you guys are all just going to rush, and I'm just going to be like, hey, can we R&L this every once in a while? Can we do something to combat some of this? And they're like, yeah, sure. Fuck with them. Play with them. Mess with them. Like you want to keep the cat-mouse game going, but you always want to be kind of the mouse, like running away, getting out of this. The cat's always kind of like pawing at it, like what's going on here? And you're like, no, this isn't what we're doing. I don't know. I think the last time I saw somebody that really rushed 5 was Seattle with Pete Carroll when they used to run their bug look, and they would show 5 up there all the time. And eventually they started getting cooked right behind the linebackers, and they were like, okay, we can't bring 5 all the time. We got to put another guy back here. And then all of a sudden you're like, okay, see, this doesn't work forever. But I will say, if you're a good O-line, a 5-0 is nothing. It becomes your world. And honestly, when we were really good in Frisco, coaches were like, we want to be able to 5-0 everything. Anything that was under, anything that was odd, anything that was 35, anything that had somebody on the nose or on the center, they were like, we are going to 5-0 because the center's already declared this way and the rest of you guys can figure out who you have. And all of a sudden it took so much pressure off the quarterback and it allows the running back to get out. And all of a sudden there's our quick screen or there's our Texas route or there's our fucking wheel route that's showing up in the NFL all over the place. Like, it sounds easy, but it's not that fucking simple. We're going to pick it apart and be like, well, they're being stupid. They're just going to keep rushing 5.
I will say I'm a big believer in end of game situation, not rushing 3.
Oh yeah, that's stupid. You're not getting anywhere.
Even if it's a Hail Mary or anything, I'm a big believer
Force it faster.
Force it out,
Yes.
right? Get it out of his hands. Send one more. Send 7. Dude, just play back, play picket fence, and go get after him, make the ball get out of his hand. I hate when they rush 1. Right? Like the Commanders. Who were the Commanders playing 2 weeks ago when Terry McLaurin was it the Bears?
Oh, that game.
Yeah, where like
Cowboys,
the Cowboys, they rushed 1. They dropped 10, still found Terry McLaurin, who still scored a touchdown, right? Go get him. Go. Blitz.
Yes.
Because what do you want to do? You want to force that quarterback into a bad decision. And what forces him into a bad decision? The minute he sees pressure coming at him. If you let him stand back there, and that's half the reason those guys are standing there. They need their receivers to get downfield.
Correct.
And if you don't let him get
Send
downfield, dude.
Engage 8. The old
By the
Madden
way,
engage
hey,
8. Go.
How many times, Jay, did we get up there in a Hail Mary? We'd see 3 guys, and we'd be like, you ready to fuck this guy up? You'd be like, listen, you hold him up, and I'll be there.
Well, because the way that those Hail Marys work is it's 3 double teams, right? Hey, left guard, you with double with the left tackle. Right guard, you double with the center. Running back, you're going to double with the right tackle. Like, it's no one's getting home.
We'd all just look at each other and be like, this could be great.
Yeah.
This is a plus.
When you get up there and be like, oh,
plus.
shit, there's 7 of them up here. This ain't going to be good.
Now you're looking back like, hey, this Hail Mary ain't working. You better have a hot route. You better have a motherfucking hot route right now.
The Hail Mary, I'm so glad you guys brought this up because as a fan, I always watch for years thinking, okay, I'm not saying like zero blitz it, but let's say the ball's on the 50-yard line. Send 6 to make sure that the quarterback throws it before the receivers. So if you have 2 options, quarterback has enough time for receivers to get into the end zone and the ball gets launched versus quarterback has to get it out early and now that receiver has to like weave his way in and out of traffic for 30 yards.
And I hate to tell you,
what's more likely to be a touchdown? I would say the ball in the end zone.
Not only that, but dude, you could just send 4. There's still going to be a one-on-one somewhere. And so what you do is you go, listen, we're going to send 4, and whichever way they're sliding, we're twisting the other way. It's going to force a one-on-one matchup. I think it was the Lions. Someone did it against the Lions too, and they only rushed 1, and he just stood there like he was spying. I'm like, do you really think that he's going to fucking run right now? Like, dude, this is the last thing you want him to do is get comfortable, pat the ball, and be like, 500, because his receivers are going to make something fucking special happen.
I got one more here for you guys from the Dusty Bud. Can anybody on the team or on the field, I guess, call a timeout? I go back to that Bears game where Eberflus got fired the next day. Yes. And the players have to have seen the clock and wonder what was going on. Why did no one just make an executive decision and call a timeout?
I've been in situations like that, and the first thing that runs through your mind is, this is our last time out. Am I really going to burn it without asking the head man? Mm-hmm. Like, you're like, okay, listen, I know that I could stop time right now. Like, let's go back to the scenario.
We'll just go back last night.
They're driving.
It was last night with Chris Jones, right? Chris Jones called a timeout last night early in the third quarter, and Spags was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Right? Like, don't do that. He's like, we couldn't hear the play. He's like, who cares? Right? Like, you don't.
No.
That's above your pay grade.
Dude,
as
you
a
don't.
player.
And I'm telling you, if you're going to do that, you're Peyton Manning, you're Tom.
Yeah,
you are them. Because the
guys.
minute you do this and you look to the sideline, they're all going to be like,
excuse you?
The fuck did you just do?
Yeah.
Like, they're going to be like, I don't
The only
give a
person
shit.
that's allowed to do it is if you have a green dot in the back of your head.
Correct.
Because usually that's the person up top going, timeout, and then it cuts out, and you're like, I don't have a play. Timeout.
Yeah, I know. And, dude, I couldn't.
The only time I've ever seen like everyone call a timeout is there's certain scenarios at the end of the game, like a church, like we used to call it a church, a down, which is like there's 9 seconds left. You have 1 timeout and you just want to hit like a quick hitter over the middle to get like 8, 10, 11 more yards and go down right away and then call timeout and kick the field goal. That's a good coaching thing where you have all 11 guys like, timeout. Like that's the only time that like certain scenarios where you can do it, but other than that, above your pay
play
grade,
clock running down, you're eating that because guess what? The head man knows the clock's running down.
Yeah.
And if anyone's getting trouble for this, it's not us.
It's not
going to
me.
be him.
It's
right?
CYA. Cover your ass. Someone else.
Don't get me
like,
wrong. I see what you're saying though, Mackey, because in the moment they got like there was like 32 seconds. They line up. It's when he changed the play that I may have been like, fuck it, boom. And then when they go, why did you do that? I'm like, because you called a play and he's calling a different play and we have no fucking time. Like, we have to do something. You could probably save yourself. You're going to get cussed the fuck out in that moment. Like, they're going to walk out there and be like, you, get the fuck over here.
But the hard part with that too, though, Booney, is like if he's changing the play and the clock's ticking in your brain, you're thinking, oh shit, he sees something. Right, like
that's what I'm saying. It's
right,
so
like,
chaotic.
In your
you're
brain,
like, oh,
things
man.
are going a million miles an hour, and Caleb's changing the play, and you're like, oh, he sees a matchup. Oh, we're about to win this thing. Like nowhere in your brain, and you're like, oh, he's screwing this up. Like
we don't have enough time.
It's just it happens too fast.
Yeah. The other thing, too, that happens all the time, pretty much every team, every game, is a team trades a 5-yard delay of game for a timeout when you'd rather have, in most cases,
on 3rd and 11.
You'd rather have the timeout later in the half. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like 3rd and 11, you burn a timeout. Like, dude, what do we 3rd and 11, 3rd and 16,
Hey,
pretty similar percentages.
Right.
If it's 3rd and 2, fringe of field goal range, okay, maybe we should keep the ball where it is.
Let's keep it where it is. I agree. Anything back behind the 50, we'll eat it.
Just eat it.
I'm eating
Just
that right
wear
now.
it, dude.
Yeah.
Try again next time.
Yeah. So, good batch of questions. Keep sending them in to the YouTube comment section. And if you haven't already, again, click that subscribe button and the like button on our journey to 30,000 subs
Film
on
reviews
this
coming.
YouTube channel.
Dude, I feel like an idiot. I've never been ejected. I don't have a good answer for that one.
It's a good thing.
I'm
Alex.
shocked that
Being
you were
a-
never
I am a little
It's a good
shocked.
thing.
I was in the
You got
old school
close.
league.
You
I
got
was in the
close.
old school league when you could fucking do what you had to do, and people were like, "Well, they're animals." Now it's now you see these refs. They jump right in the middle of this fight. I'm like, man, I don't know. I definitely would have hit a few guys. Fuck.
Yeah, we got to figure out what we're breaking down for film. We might have to do Sam Darnold's career day. But
Dude,
Vikings fans love the last
We
one.
may
so.
have to do a little Joshy Boy career day
I was gonna
too.
say we might have to do
Like
we might
one
have
of
to
the
do
greatest
Rams, too,
quarterback
dude.
performances of all time, even though they lost.
Yeah.
Crazy.
All right, we'll put our heads together. Yeah. All right, that's the O-line committee. Part 1, Part 2, dumb football questions here. We'll see you guys for the film breakdowns later this week.